Mille grazie, Emma, for your kind words of introduction. I'm a little bit disappointed because I don't know what to add, because you are expressing yourself as if you were President of the Commission. And so I will take your role. I will express myself if I was President of Business Europe. In October, dear friends, just a few days before I took office, Business Europe published a list of its 10 priorities. 10 priorities to boost investment growth and employment. I have read it, and I found it very interesting. I'm sure today you will tell me that I have not read it closely enough, and others will claim that I have read too much of it. I'll be honest, I have read it, and I took the bits I liked. The only remaining real prerogative of the President of the Commission is to pick and choose. We have our own list of 10 priorities, those which I set out in my own political guidelines. I was explaining to the plenary of the European Parliament back in mid-July. These priorities are the basis on which I was appointed by heads of state and government and elected by the European Parliament. I hope you'll forgive me that if they are not quite identical to your own. My aim, my duty in fact, is to act in the best European interest at the moment when Europe is being called into question day after day, again and again, to address the issues that matter for citizens and can bring Europe closer to its citizens, to build a stronger and a more prosperous Europe, but also a more social and caring one, a fairer Europe, to reconcile citizens not only with the European project, but also with themselves, and to make a real difference. Today, I want to set out some of those priorities. Let me reassure you, on most things, not on all things, we do agree. Economic growth, investment, reforms, trade, single market. And I want to set out how I hope European business can engage to help us in all this, and how I hope you will be involved. First among our priorities, and yours I think, is to address the urgent economic and social situation and to build a strong economy for the future. And my approach is based on the virtuous triangle which we need to promote between structural reforms, fiscal responsibility and investment. We are living in comfortable circumstances. The oil price went down by 50% in the last semester. The exchange rate went down by 30%, the direct exchange rate, not only the real one, but the direct exchange rate between dollar and the euro. The interest rates are as low as they never were. So all the conditions are there to promote growth, to stick to structural reforms, and to keep the necessary fiscal consolidation on our radar. My fear is that as the circumstances are as good as they are, that we would weaken our effort as far as structural reforms are concerned. The circumstances we have, they are positive, but they are conjunctural. They are not structural. If we are losing this window of opportunity to strengthen on the structural side our economy, our basic economic structures, we will not have made the best out of the good circumstances we are in. For me, the investment was the missing part of our economic narrative. Yes, we need, as I said, to start up structural reforms to enrich the job and productivity potential of our economy. Yes, we need to pursue fiscal responsibility and keep public finances sustainable, but we also need to restore investment levels to overcome the crisis, to kickstart growth and sustain it. We have an investment level in Europe which is by 15% lower than in the pre-crisis year 2007. In some countries, 50, 60% lower. And so we have to restore an investment climate in order to be able to kickstart growth and to sustain it. And I was very pleased that you choose to echo this priority by choosing the theme of Invest in Europe for this event. Because this is important, the first act of the new college was to launch an investment plan for Europe. This is about new money for investment. We are committed to delivering 315 billion in extra investment in Europe. This is not old money for old investments, which would have been done anyway. This is new money for new investments, moving along the lines you so intelligently and wisely developed a few minutes ago. We have to use the expertise and the credit rating of the European Investment Bank and stimulating private capital. We cannot spend money we don't have. So this is an offer to the private sector where the money is, without having this money having a landing place to join the efforts we are developing in order to reach the aims which are common and collective aims to all of us. As I said, we have to use the expertise of the European Investment Bank. I made the choice, not everyone in the Commission was happy about that not the commissioners are those who will choose the specific identifiable investment project. This should be done by the experts of the European Investment Bank. The Commission and the commissioners, they will always be blackmailed by governments. A government telling us that we have to build a channel from here to there, and by members of the European Parliament to do this and to do that. I am more reassured if the experts, those who are close to real economy, close to the markets, and they are sitting in the bank and not in the Commission, if they are charged with the identification of the projects we have to support. This work is already underway, with, I have to say, good progress on agreeing the regulation setting up the new European Fund for Strategic Investments. 4 countries so far have pledged financial contributions. And those governments and those prime ministers who are telling their domestic public that this plan is not ambitious enough, they should try to find some money in their pocket. It's easy to tell the Commission that this is not enough. We could have more if they would spend less for their own political purposes at home, and so I would re-invite all the governments to join the effort which Spain, France, Italy and Germany have already done. The investment plan is not only about money, it's about investment projects, and it's about making Europe more attractive to investment, to improve the business environment and financing conditions, and to strengthen opportunities across Europe. There are many elements to this, from our better regulation agenda to our flagship projects on energy union, the digital single market, and the deepening of economic and monetary union. All these things are equally important, and you will see these initiatives unfold over the coming months. And I hope and I expect you will take an active role in shaping them. For instance, until May, we are consulting on the future of what we call a capital markets union, which is of paramount importance to improve access to finance for business, small and large, but also small and medium sized, by using the power of our single market to diversify sources of funding and cutting the cost of capital. If EU venture capital markets had been as deep as in the US, that would have meant 90 billion extra euro available over the recent years. On economic reform, human capital, productivity, many of the tools still lie in the hands of member states. We were, during the period I was chairing the Eurogroup, systematically underestimating the importance of the relation between productivity and wage developments in the countries which did become program countries. And as Robert Denenwald and Nicolas Soisson, who are laughing when I'm talking about these things, would say, Luxembourg is in exactly the same situation. If they are telling you that, believe them parts of their reasoning. Not everything is correct. We have many instruments like a stronger European semester of economic policy coordination to steer and guide, and we will want to use them. We have already published our so-called country reports, where we analyze the situation of each member state. In May, we'll put forward a new set of country-specific recommendations, and I would like commissioners to visit national social partners, national parliaments, in order to explain what will be the content of the country-specific recommendation, because I would like to have countries, national social partners, European social partners taking a closer ownership relation when it comes to these country-specific recommendations. And I don't want this to come from Brussels. It cannot be like that. Whether it is reform of our domestic economies or reform of our economic and monetary union, that reform needs full ownership and engagement. It's not a Brussels dictatorship. It has to be national ownership, because it will affect the lives of people. Those people need to be involved and convinced about the benefits. So I hope that you will be out there making the convincing case in support of our initiatives. Let me give you two more examples. Trade. I want to see a reasonable and balanced trade deal with the US. I know that the European Union companies face obstacles when trying to export to the States or get investment from the States, while EU consumers don't always get the best deal. That is what we want to deal with, not by merely lowering standards or sacrificing protections for mere dogma, but by opening up markets and bringing down barriers. At the European Council last week, a week ago, European leaders committed to make every effort to agree the deal this year, before the end of this year. An ambitious, a comprehensive deal. And they committed to communicate more about it too, and speak with civil society. I wanted them to say that, and to stop the double speak, and make sure that they commit and stick together in the process. What I don't like is that when we are sitting around the table of the European Council, everyone is saying, yes, 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 we have to do it, and when being back home, addressing, even starting by doing that in Brussels, when addressing the national press, they are summarizing in the best way possible, that means in the awfulest way possible, everything which would be of a nature to speak against this trade agreement. We need, for vital reasons, the future has to do to a large extent with a positive and genuine conclusion of the free trade agreement with the US. They are not waiting on us. They are on their way to the Pacific. They are on their way to the Chinese and the Asian part of the world. We have to be there at the moment where we have to be there, and the Commission will do everything to be there, although I have to say that we are taking seriously on board parts of the critical voices which are echoed throughout Europe. The second example is single market. I want to do more on the single market. We would not have a single market without the work started by Jacques Delors 30 years ago. But the single market is not complete. The single market has to be completed, and the freedoms, those we know, are preeminent achievements of the European integration. We should not forget that. For my Commission, the freedom of movement for workers will not be killed if you are starting to change the freedom of movement for workers. The day after tomorrow, we will start to attack other basic freedoms, so we have to make sure that this is a matter where we cannot compromise on. Because the internal market has some success, It is too easily taken for granted. Not everyone realizes or notices or values the positive difference it makes. Not everyone sees the risks of rejection or retention. And so let's reinvent and strengthen the internal market for the challenges of the 21st century. Digital services, for example. Commissioner Göttinger is here. He will tell you this afternoon or later on today why this is important, although you know that why it is important, but he is working hard together with his colleagues to put into place a pan-European digital service market. This is of the essence. Or take energy. The energy union is one of the major priorities of my commission. I'm very serious on that. If you are comparing the electricity prices between the US and Europe, we have electricity prices 40% higher than in the US. So if we want to compete in a proper way, in a fair manner with the US, we have to change this, and we have to struggle in order to achieve this. We have to put an end to these national silos. We have to put an end to 28 different, very different national frameworks. It has to be done, and it will be done. There are, ladies and gentlemen, 10 key areas my political guidelines focus on. But above all, there is one common theme and one common method. The common theme is how to restore jobs, growth, and investment. We must leave the next generation with more than a pile of debt and a broken economy. We must invest in their future through investment, but also through forward-looking reform and financial responsibility. And we must invest in creating new opportunities for each and everyone. And the common method is focus. The EU needs to focus on the areas that matter and make a difference. It cannot hope and does not want to do everything, be everything for everyone. But equally, sometimes, EU action helps remove the burden. As one set of rules replace 28. So we'll be big on the big things and small on the small things. Ambitious where it counts, modest elsewhere. Not each and every problem in Europe is a problem for the European Union. Not each and every problem in the European Union is a problem for the European Commission. Big on big, modest, small, timid on small things. That's our motto for the next coming years, and this has been shown in the working program we have presented to the European Parliament recently. Our work program for 2015 contains just 23 new initiatives compared to the previous annual average of 130. Alongside 80 pending proposals, we are withdrawing or amending 79 that we took for a review as part of a so-called fitness check. Some call this better regulation. Some call it subsidiarity. Whatever you call it. It means an EU that is more focused, credible, and relevant for the citizen and for the companies. Let me conclude, Carissima Emma, by a remark dedicated to social dialogue. Along workers' representatives, you will find in me an ally. I'm a great defender and promoter of social dialogue, both at European level but also at national level. Indeed, we had a very good conference the other day here in Brussels that many of you attended. And I was concluding that meeting by saying that tripartism doesn't work if bipartisan doesn't work. So the main responsibility is with the social partners. Don't try to bring the Commission in a game where those who are our co-players don't have the needed understanding amongst themselves in order to enable us to make the progress we need. I want a Europe that is not distant, a Europe that is not directive, not a Europe that tells citizens how to be or business, how to operate and behave, but a Europe engaged in dialogue and debate, working with and for Europeans for a better future. Thank you for listening so carefully.